Hey everyone, Pastor Isaac here once again. I've got a passage of scripture that I want to share with you that I think is really exciting about our relationship with God. So I want you to take a moment and kind of think about your life. Maybe you're like me, okay? Maybe there were moments in your life where people didn't maybe understand you as well as you'd like them to. And, you look at me and you say, well, Isaac, maybe that's just because you're a silly person, Obviously, yes, I am a very silly person, and that shows, and people may not understand me very well because of that, it's just a silly thing. But what I'm talking about is our relationship with Christ and how people perceive that. You may have experienced times when you're spending time with your friends, and maybe you don't line up with everything they're doing. Or maybe that was in the past. Whatever it may be, maybe you experienced something like that. Now, the passage we're going to be looking at today, it's going to kind of take note of that feeling, where we don't feel like we maybe fit in with people around us. It's going to take note of that, but it's going to show us that that isn't a negative thing necessarily. It's a positive thing. Because the truth is, the reason, because of our Christianity, that we don't fit in with people is because of this fact right here. And that fact is that we are children of God. So let's look at that passage together right now. It's 1 John chapter 3, verses 1 through 3. So let's read that right now. This is what it says. See what great love the Father has lavished on us, that we should be called children of God. Now let's stop right there. First of all, it's because of his love that we now have that relationship with him. He's like a father to us. How amazing is that? That's the way he sees us. That's a truly amazing relationship to have with our God. So let's continue. It says, and this is what we are. The reason the world does not know us is that it did not know him. Remember that, because we'll talk about that in a second. Then it says, dear friends, now we are children of God, and what we will be has not yet been made known. But we know that when Christ appears, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is, as a father. All who have this hope in him purify themselves just as he is pure. Now I want us to look at this. And I want us to pay attention to a couple of points in this passage. Obviously, the whole passage is very powerful in its message and the fact that it communicates the love of God and how it represents that we are his children. There's a couple of things in there, though, that I think we need to make note of. And one of those things is this little portion. It says this, the reason the world does not know us is that it did not know Christ. It did not know our God. So think about that. When you're in a situation where people look at you and they may give you a look, one of those looks like, well, that's strange, because of the love that we have and the fact that we are so in line with Christ. We look at that and we might say that it's a negative thing. But what this passage is telling us is the reason it's like that is because people don't understand Christ. Think about the life of Christ. He was persecuted. He was put through so much awful things because of what he represented. So when we look at this, we can say, they're really persecuting Christ because they didn't know him. Just like with Paul, or when he was Saul, the fact that God speaks directly to him and says, why do you persecute me rather than persecuting the Jews? Remember that's the kind of love that God has for us. And lean on him in that experience, knowing that he is there for us no matter what. So I hope that's an encouragement to you today, okay?